Welcome back to more common knowledge. Let's take a look at some common Magic the Gathering cards and tell you, are they good in the Pauper format? We will start with our first card whenever the internet picks up. There we go. Oh, it's a classic. Cyclopean Mummy is a 1 and a black for a 2/1 zombie creature. And when this creature dies, you exile it. That's just a real bad Magic card right there, isn't it? Isn't it? That'd be, you know what? This is kind of fun in in like a oh, what do you call it? The roots with the roots. Help me out. Insidious Roots. Jesus. That's kind of fun in an Insidious Roots deck because it has to die, which means it goes to the graveyard first, and then it gets exiled, so you get the Roots trigger off it. Still, this is a bad card. This is a pretty bad card. I I suppose it does only have the one eye, so it kind of does count as a Cyclops, even though it clearly has a socket for another eye. Do you? I feel like Cyclops is always more about started with one eye. Like I guess I wouldn't call like a guy with an eye patch a Cyclops for many for many reasons, but one I just don't think that that works. In any case, this is a bad card. This is a bad card. We just have much better cards at this point. In fact, there's another card I want to look up. It's black. It costs 2. It mills. And it's from... it would be legal in Pauper, and it is from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Do you know which one I'm talking about before I hit enter on this one? It has lifelink too. I can tell you that. That's our boy, Desperate Bloodseeker, right there. Desperate Bloodseeker, same mana cost for a 2/2, better. Also has lifelink, and when it enters, target player mills 2 cards. That could be you. That could be your opponent. This is the reason This is not specifically the reason Cyclopean Mummy is not played in Pauper, but it does completely dumpster Cyclopean Mummy. Cyclopean Mummy, it's very fun. It's a fun classic Magic the Gathering card. Like, look at this. Look at that Legends card. Buy it for a whole 28 cents. Ooh, you get the Renaissance one with the fun text. And yeah, there's this is a 1. sorry to beat around the bush on that. This is a 1. This is a bad Magic card. Let's keep going. Prow Catcher. Prow Catcher Specialist is 1 and a red for a 2/1 Goblin Warrior. Very similar to our Cyclopean Mummy so far. It's got haste, and it also has exhaust for 3 and a red. You can put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. Exhaust is an ability that you can only activate once. Like only once for every instance of this card. So if you blink it, that feels like it's a new instance of the card. You could use its exhaust ability again. It's not as useful for a creature like this because it puts the counters on itself. Okay, so a Cyclopean Mummy, 2 mana, 2/1, but now it has haste. And for 4 mana a little later in the game, okay, it could become a 4/3. That is certainly better than Cyclopean Mummy. It's definitely going to get a better score than a 1, but it's not going to get a whole lot better than that. I think you could give this a whole extra number. No. It doesn't deserve a whole extra number. Let's give it a 1.9. 1.9 I think is fair. It's almost twice as good as a Cyclopean Mummy. Let's move on to Snake Form. It is 2 and a hybrid. Simic mana. It's a green or a blue there. For an instant, until end of turn, target creature loses all abilities and becomes a green snake with base power and toughness 1/1. And you draw a card. Okay. Kind of interesting here. 3 mana for this effect is a lot, but you do get the cantrip here. You do get to just draw. Originally from Eventide, which continues our preponderance of Lorwyn block cards that we've gotten in the last few days, last few episodes at least. Kind of a Frogify style effect, but with the card draw on top of it. It's not the worst, but it's also not the best. I feel fairly confident giving this thing a 2. It is it is removal and card draw in a single card, which can do something, but it is not the best kind of removal, and it's pretty expensive for card draw. So, eh. Next up is Elvish Scout. For a single green mana, you get a 1/1 Elf Scout. You can pay a green and tap this creature to untap target attacking creature you control and prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by it this turn. From Fallen Empires, which is why we have 3 versions of it. That's what they did with all their commons. It's cool. I love the idea that we give common cards a bunch of different treatments like that. That's neat. Because now you see that happen more with rares, right? With rares and mythics. Oh, we've got the showcase version. We have this other version, and we've got this one that's like the screenshot from the Avatar show that looks like garbage. But the commons just stay the commons. So it's cool to get other versions of the common. This is a bad card, right? Because already you shouldn't be attacking. You shouldn't be attacking in if you know you're not going to be able to do any. I mean, I suppose if you have a creature with an attack trigger on it, and there are some of those in Pauper, not a ton that see a lot of play. And the idea that you're paying mana each turn to stop that from, I guess it is giving it kind of vigilance in a way, but it's also not letting it do damage. So, although the way the rules of Magic are written, at least for now, maybe they'll change the way combat works. They've done it in the past. Your creature continues to be attacking even after it's done combat damage. I think your creature continues to be attacking until the end of combat. So you could use this as a pseudo vigilance of attacking in, doing the damage, and then before the combat phase ends, you tap this to untap your target attacking creature. And the damage has already been dealt at that point, so preventing it doesn't work. You just wouldn't though. you just wouldn't. This is a long way of going. This isn't a great card. I'll give it a 1.4 because maybe there's some fun shenanigans that I'm missing, but I think most of the time you just want to play a Llanowar Elf over this, or an Arbor Elf, or many other elves instead of this one. But cool Mark Poole art for sure. I think that probably is the best art of any of these. And the other ones are okay, but I think the Poole one's my favorite. Let's keep going to Order of the Golden Cricket. Love that name. 1 and a white for a 2/2 Kithkin Knight. Again, another Lorwyn card, this one from Morningtide. Whenever this creature attacks, you may pay a white. If you do, it gains flying until end of turn. So hey, there you go. There's your attack trigger. You get attacked with this guy, you pay the white, so it gets flying, so you do 2 damage, and then you use this guy, you pay a green to untap your 2/2. That's bad, right? Like, just think of how bad that interaction is. You're spending a lot of mana on basically nothing. Fun art, great name, not a very good card. It's slightly better than a grizzly bear, and I'll give it slightly better than what a grizzly bear would get, and that's a 1.4, I guess. Is that 4 strokes or 3? I think that's 4. So that makes that our 5th. Let's keep on moving to Hulking Devil. It's 3 and a red for a 5/2 Devil. So you're paying Hill Giant mana, 3 and a red, and you're getting better than Hill Giant stats. Hill Giant's a 3/3, so you're getting an extra point of power toughness in here, but it's also shifted to make it 5/2. 5/2 for 4. That's not the worst. I mean, this is just a vanilla creature, so you'd have to do something else with it. And it's pretty easy to knock it out with 2 toughness. But 5/2, it's not an embarrassing stat line. Maybe that's something you do fling effects with. For 4 mana, you could probably do better for a fling target than this. But I'll give it a 1.5. Turn to Slag is up next. It's 3 and double red for a sorcery. Turn to Slag deals 5 damage to target creature. Destroy all equipment attached to that creature. We had a similar one to this a little while ago. I think it was maybe a Strixhaven card. And 5, I'll repeat myself, 5 mana for 5 damage is not very good. 5 mana for 5 damage to just a creature is even worse. Being able to destroy all the equipment attached to a creature is okay, but there are not a ton of equipment decks in Pauper. I would say very little equipment at all really gets played in Pauper. And I think that's sad because I think equipment's really cool as a kid who jumped into Magic when Mirrodin was just kicking off. I thought equipment was awesome. But yeah, I don't think it's all that worth it. This is not a very good card. I will give it a 1.3. Next we have Kyrian Sentinel. It's 1 a green for a 2/1 elf druid. When this creature enters, add 1 mana of any color. It's okay. Kind of cool that it pays you back a mana. Maybe you get to play another 1-drop on turn 2. If you have your Llanowar elves in, now you get to draw on turn 1. You get to drop a 2-drop on turn 2, or I guess 2-drops on turn 2. That's kind of neat. Suppose it's a little bit of fixing in a way, in that it gives you a mana of any color. But overall, I suppose you could make this work in some kind of flicker deck to give yourself infinite mana of any color. That's probably asking a lot to make a combo like that work. There's probably easier ways of making a combo like that work, but this is abusable in a way that probably could make you infinite mana. So I'll give it a little credit from that, but not a whole lot. I think we can give this a 2. 2.1. 2.1. It's a little better than a 2. How about that? And we'll move on to not our final card of the day. We got a little bit more. Vectis Silencers is 2 and a blue for an artifact creature that's a human rogue. It's a 1/2, and it has for 2 and a black. This creature gains Death Touch until end of turn. 3 mana for a 1/2 is not very good. 3 mana to give a creature Death Touch is only this creature, not even target creature, Death Touch. That is also not very good. It's kind of just 2 bad things stapled onto one card, and it's still bad. I don't particularly like this at all. I will give it a 1.1. That is not the kind of mana sink you want. We'll move on to what is our final card of the day, Brightfield Mustang, which is 3 and a white for a 3/3 horse mount. When this creature attacks while saddled, untap it and put a +1/+1 counter on it. It also has Saddle 1. I do not think we've done Saddle on the show before. So Saddle 1 says tap any number of other creatures you control with total power 1 or more. This mount becomes saddled until end of turn, but you can saddle only as a sorcery, which you only want to saddle as a sorcery. You know, when Ether first came out, or not. No, it was Outlaws. Outlaws Thunder Junction was the first mount deck, right? Right? Yeah, I think that's right. Jesus, I don't even remember. That was this year of Magic. Or I guess last year of Magic at this point. But you'd think that mounts worked a lot like vehicles, and they kind of do. But all mount abilities only work on player phase, on your turn. So being able to tap to mount your creature, to saddle your creature, to saddle your creature on the opponent's turn. I guess it would be nice to be able to just tap your creatures at will in the way that you can do with vehicles. There is some usefulness if somebody's playing like a split up or something. I'm talking about standard at that point, but there are reasons that you might want a creature to be tapped, so it can't attack in, or it can't be targeted by things that can only target untapped creatures, or some other stuff going on. So it doesn't quite work that way. It works that way on your turn. I think mounts are interesting in that they are just normal creatures, unlike vehicles that are just an artifact. This is a regular creature that just gets a little bit of a bonus if you saddle it, which makes sense. It is a creature. Like, this is a horse. This is Horses are normal creatures, right? But if you have a rider on a horse, maybe it can do a little bit more. That's the idea. Getting a 1/1 counter, making this a 4/4, and giving it vigilance in that way. That's okay. You're basically getting a 4/4 for 4. You have to have another creature to tap it to saddle it first, though. But eventually, this becomes pretty big. It's still just a vanilla creature at that point. I guess the pseudo vigilance on it is something, but I'd say it's pretty normal. Pretty normal to the point where you'd go, does that really need a slot in my deck? And the answer is probably no. So let's give this thing a 2.3, and we'll get one bonus card, and then we'll get out of here. Nyxborn Shieldmate is a single white mana for an enchantment creature that is a human soldier. It's a 1/2, and it's got Bestow for 2 and a white. So Bestow, which I think we've covered, but we'll say again. If you cast this card for its Bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. And it gives the enchanted creature +1/+2. So it's a holy strength. So the creature itself is an animated holy strength. Yeah? Enchantment, it's a 1/2, costs 1. That's what a holy strength is. Although the holy strength is only an enchantment. But you can play it as a holy strength on another creature of yours for 3 times what a holy strength costs. But if that creature dies, or if the creature is killed before this is able to attach to it, this still lands on the table as a 1/2. And I think that's why these bestow costs end up costing more than the creature itself, because you still it's kind of 2 cards in one. You get the aura, and then when the creature dies, the aura becomes a creature itself. So you get a little extra value out of it. I don't think these cards are all that great. I think the ones that give abilities are a little bit better than this one that just gives stats. And we've seen the best ones not even come out of the Theros block. The best ones have come out of Modern Horizons 3 with something like the Nyxborn Hydra, which we've mentioned a couple times is a very good card. This is fine. Nah, I wouldn't even say fine. I would say it's actually not very good at all. I'd give it a 1.4, I suppose, and call it a day right there. Thanks so much for joining me on that one, and hope to see you next time when we look at some more common cards. Till then, see ya.